All right, Superman. Superman is a tough balloon to get right. For me, it was anyway. It was a tough balloon to get a really fast version of it right. I think it's one of my longest line work balloons. I would really probably not do this in a carnival setting with 100 kids because it takes a little while. For me, it's about as long as doing a mermaid, which is a little longer than I want to do in a setting like that. But certainly birthday parties, restaurants, no problem. It uses 2 light blue balloons, 1 blush balloon, and 1 red balloon. Okay. So we're gonna inflate both of the light blue balloons and tie them end to end. When I put in a headband, and I always do with Superman, I'm gonna leave a long slack at the end when I tie it. So I'm actually gonna twist off a long slack here because we're gonna build his feet first, and I'm gonna use this slack here to tie into the headband. Okay. Each one is blown up to about 5 fingers of tape. Tie the balloons end to end. We're going to do Superman because he's sort of tough. I designed him to be in his classic hands on hip Superman pose. And so he's standing upright, hands on hip in that pose. So when we build him, it's important that we make him that way. He doesn't have bent legs like the other heroes do. And because what's tough about Superman is his colors are really mismatched, kind of like Iron Man, but almost a little harder. Because Iron Man, at least, there's only 2 colors. He's red and yellow. But Superman is multiple colors. He's 3 colors: blue, red. Actually, he has yellow on his chest, but we'll use a marker for that. And blush, because Superman doesn't wear a mask, and he doesn't wear gloves either. He has blush hands. And that's a lot of different balloons in different places. And his red is in a funky place. It's red boots, red underwear. Usually, most incarnations of Superman have red underwear, red cape, and then blue body otherwise. And it's hard to get it to look right. So this one is the best I've come up with, and I'm very happy with it. I like it a lot, and it looks great. People really like it. So we're going to take these 2 balloons, the 2 blue balloons. I use light blue, by the way. I think it looks better with the marker work that we're going to do, so we're going to put red marker on its chest. I like light blue. And we're going to twist these 2 balloons as 1 balloon for most of the time. So we're going to twist, I'm going to squeeze it to make it soft, and I'm going to twist about a 4-finger or 5-finger bubble, and we're going to split that to make 2 loop twists. These are Superman's feet. Just like so. And that's also going to be the part that's going to sit on the headband. Now we're going to come up about 4 fingers or so and twist like this to make his legs. And then we're going to twist a small bubble. Again, both balloons as 1, so it's actually 2 small bubbles. And we're going to pinch twist this. And position it sort of like this, so you're still going straight up. Okay, the balloons are coming out of the pinch twists rather than causing them to give like a right angle. Like with Iron Man, they give us an angle. They angle his legs out. With Superman, we want him standing straight. We're going to come up again about 4 or 5 fingers for his chest, twist off, and we're going to twist another bubble just like at his waist there, which should be his neck. And we're going to pinch twist. Now here's the part where we're going to separate these balloons and we're going to stop twisting them as 1. We have this now. We have his feet, his legs, his waist, his chest, his neck, and his 2 arms coming out. We're going to give him that hands on hip pose, so we're going to separate these balloons. We're going to start with this one, and we're going to twist it about 3 or 4 fingers of a bubble, followed by another bubble about 3 or 4 fingers. And we're going to take it down and connect it into his waist. And we're done with this balloon. We can get rid of it. We're going to do the same thing with the other arm and bring it down and connect it into his waist. Like this. Another one. Bring it in. And then we're done with this, so we can break it off and wrap the access through. Okay. This is our Superman. He's standing hands on hip pose, upright. I'm not going to put blush hands on him. You can if you want to, but I don't. I don't think it needs it. I think the hands on the hip, it sort of suggests his hands are all buried into his hip. I don't know. It's just my excuse for saving time of doing the blush hands. But I am going to do a blush head. So we're going to use our blush balloon here. You don't need much at all because all you're going to do is a single head, which is going to be one loop twist. If you're going to do the hands, you can do that. If you're going to do the hands, do 2 pinch twists, and then wrap the pinch twists in, break it off, do 2 more pinch twists, wrap them into the hand, break it off, and then do the head. I just say I don't waste time with it. I have another Superman design that I'm going to show you that's just a little bit longer to do. And I will show you the hands on that one because he's in a little bit of a different position. And it's the same way for doing the hands though. Okay. Make your loop, and we're going to wrap it into his neck. You're done with this, so you can break it off. You could also do the hands at this point. You could let that go and do the hands if you want. And we'll just wrap this around a bit. Like so. Okay. There he is. He needs his cape now. And his cape, I use a red 260. You don't have to use a 160 for this. In fact, I kind of prefer this with a 260. And this is, maybe I'm just weird and anal and a little OCD on this, but I prefer this with the 260. And the reason I prefer it with the 260 is because we're taking some liberties in Superman's body. Superman always has red boots, and in most incarnations he has red underwear. And to save time, we're not doing that on this. But Superman's body is probably not half blue and half red, but maybe it's close to half, right? It's maybe 2/3 blue and 1/3 red. I want the red to have a fuller part of his costume here. I want it to be a fuller part of the sculpture in general, so I want the colors to have that bit going for them. So I use a 260. It's such a small point, I'm sure nobody ever notices it except for me, and I prefer working with 260s anyway, so I'm going to use red 260. That's my reasoning for it. And I'm going to inflate it most of the way. Leave just a few inches of tail. It doesn't really matter, you're not doing any twists on this, you're just wrapping that tail into his neck. So we're going to start with the nozzle, and we're going to wrap the nozzle into his neck. And then take the tail and wrap the tail into his neck. I'm just going to hide it up there in the pinch twist. Now, I'm going to take it here, and I'm going to bend it and put some shape into it because I want the cape to go down. I want it to be angled down, okay, a little bit. So it's angled down. And then I'm going to come to the center of the cape. I'm going to find the center, and I'm going to go off from center a little bit. And I'm going to do a shock twist here, and I'm going to go off from center and do a shock twist here. So his cape is like this. And then finally, I'm going to put a flowing shape into it by holding it like this, and just doing this and massaging a little bit, and that'll give it a little bit of a flowing shape. So the cape has a bit of a flow to it. Okay. Now for the head, or for drawing on the features, I use this Sharpie Magnum. I started carrying this because I do Sesame Street characters with big bear heads, and for those, they have big, giant black mouths that you have to draw on there, and this can fill them in a couple strokes, whereas a regular Sharpie takes all day. So I started carrying this. I always have it with me. And I use this marker for Superman's face because I want to give him a full head of hair. I don't want him having a big bald spot in the back. He's supposed to look like a superhero, not like me. So I'm going to fill in his head. And for this, you can see just a stroke like this. And I go down the back like this. And that quickly, this Sharpie Magnum is wonderful. It fills in Superman's whole head. Now I could switch off. I'm just going to make it a little even here. I could switch off and use a regular Sharpie to do his features, but I don't bother. I do his features kind of quickly, and I just do bubbles for his eyes, just another little bubble for his nose, and a mouth. And that's what I do. And you could switch off and get a little more elaborate with your regular marker, but since I have this one on my hand, that's how I do it. Now, the other marker that I also carry, and you need to have these, they are awesome, and you have to carry them, they're fantastic, are Expo Neon markers. Let me show you this. Expo Neon. These are awesome markers. They come in a variety of colors, and I think they come only as a pack, so you have to buy the variety color pack. But they will write on any color balloon, even black. They show up neon bright on black balloons, and they're just fantastic. If you already use dry erase markers, you know dry erase markers don't just rub off the balloon. They have to be wet to come off the balloon. So you can wipe them off if they're wet. If you're at a pool party, maybe they're going to smudge off. But for the most part, you're fine with Expo Neon. So I use the Expo Neon yellow because it's going to be really vibrant on any color to draw the triangle on his chest for the S. In truth, I think sometimes I switch off and I use red for the triangle and yellow for the S, and I do it both ways, but whatever. Like this. And then I will use a red marker, and I would just put sort of an S in there. Nothing super elaborate, but just it gives you sort of the idea. Okay. And that is Superman, and then I pretty much always put him on a headband. And I think the reason I always put Superman on a headband as opposed to some of the others is because I always use headbands now, and Superman is a fairly newer design for me. It's a newer one I just started doing. So in the short time I've been doing it, I've been using headbands. So I use that long slack and just wrap it around his feet, like so. And there is Superman on a headband. It's not perfect because he doesn't have the red boots, but it looks really cool, and people absolutely love this. They have loved it in the events that I've done it so far. It looks great. I love it. It's one of my favorite new designs. It's just awesome. I love it. Hey guys, if you like this video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Also subscribe. Be sure to check out my other videos.